Speaking of people who usually got overlooked, my co-workers were a pretty chill bunch, especially this one guy, Javier, who was the hardest working person I've ever met. He cleaned and stacked those glasses so fast it was a blur. It was like watching someone do Dragon Ball Z on crockery. He was from Brazil, I think, and he was working a minimum wage job in New Zealand to send money back to his family. I didn't ask how he ended up in that situation, but I felt kind of sorry for him.
So
why didn't he ask?
This is, I just want to pause it here for a second. This is, to me, the most important part of the video right now. Okay. So this is the situation. He's working in a bar.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't like that he's making minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
He's complaining about the owner taking too much money.
Yeah.
And then he turns and he sees a guy from Brazil
Mm-hmm.
who's working super hard
Javier.
at the same job.
Yeah.
And they're sending money back home to their home country.
Yeah, their family.
Right.
Yeah.
So what direction do you think this is going to go?
Oh, it's terrible. I've watched the video. I know it's awful.
Okay.
Because the way the managers and the customers looked at him and spoke to him compared to me, a white person with an English accent, was really obvious. What I came to realize is that he had to work that hard in order to be allowed to stay. And yet, cruelly, he would never be recognized for his hard work.
Okay. So this is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
This is fucking amazing. So the actual answer to the question is the reason he worked so hard is because he comes from a country where maybe he couldn't get a job that was anywhere near as good as the job he had in New Zealand. And because he had to support a family. So he feels motivated by his personal experience and lack of privilege. He's probably like, this job is fucking amazing.
Yeah, I don't want to lose it.
Right. Because he doesn't have the privilege of living in a first world, European country, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where he looks at this job and says, this is beneath me, right?
Yeah, piece of shit job.
Right. And yet, Philosophy Tube doesn't realize that that's why he has this attitude about working.
Yeah.
Instead, because if he was to realize that, he would say, oh, well, this means that my attitude towards my job is my own fault. It's because of my privilege that I'm not working as hard as Javier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And because I don't have this responsibility, I don't feel like I have to work this hard because I have to send money back home to my family who are depending on me, right? There's all these responsibilities weighing on this guy. But none of this enters into Philosophy Tube's mind, because if it were to, he would have to self-reflect and feel bad about himself and his performance. So instead, his brain warps it in the only way it can to make it so that it's not his fault. It's somehow the fault of racism.
Racism, I know. It's so sad.
Oh, the reason that Javier works so hard isn't because of the opportunities presented to him here versus his own country. It's because he has to work that hard because all these racist white people are going to deport him or fire him otherwise.
Yeah.
Like, this is expert level mental gymnastics, all in order to avoid personal responsibility.
If we could just get rid of racism, Sitch, then Javier could slack off like everyone else does, and the fucking restaurant could fall apart. It would be great.
Exactly.
Hold on. Is he making the argument that restaurant is actually holding civilization together? It kind of sounds like he is. Poor Javier. The thing that screams out to me, because I've worked with a bunch of like bus boys and like dishwashers and stuff like that. I've worked in restaurants. A lot of them are Mexican, barely speak any English. I smoke weed with those guys and fucking talk to them and shit. Like, I know all about their families and stuff. I don't, like, he's not even self-reflective enough to ask the guy, like, what's your situation like back in Brazil? That kind of shit fascinates me. He's probably got like 6 kids and shit, or a fucking mom that's like dying of cancer or something like that.
First
like,
of all,
that
it's funny 'cause he
motivates him
says
to
he
work his
thinks-
ass off.
He thinks he's from Brazil. He doesn't even know for sure.
Yeah, exactly. No fucking shit. Like, So
He didn't. But see, it's so funny because this is the literal paradigm of like
yeah,
the white bougie shithead communist who thinks they're above it all, right? He's watching this guy from Brazil, who he thinks is from Brazil,
Mhm.
some generic Hispanic guy who's not sure where he's from.
Yeah, exactly.
He's watching him work really hard, and instead of asking him like a human being,
What's your
and
situation? Yeah,
yeah, what's your
exactly.
situation? Why do you're so motivated? Like, instead of like getting to know him to understand like his motivations, he just projects his own woke fucking bullshit racist narrative onto this guy's
Onto fucking
behavior.
Javier and then monetizes it on
Yes,
fucking the internet.
he objectifies a minority instead of just
Yes.
asking him for his take on it.
That's fucking devious, man. It's totally devious. It's totally devious. I can't imagine monetizing the story of any of the guys that I ever worked with. That's so fucking, that's a new level of evil that I've never even contemplated could exist in the world.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. That's totally crazy.
The promise is that if you work hard, you can get ahead. But in Javier's case, that just wasn't going to happen. There wasn't a specific rule barring him from a promotion or
Bullshit. That money that he's sending back to wherever he's sending it back to probably is buying his family a house,
Right.
buying them out of poverty. It's the kind of advantage that most people never get. Jeez. This is why America is as strong as it is, because we're obviously poaching the most motivated people all over the world. Like, they got to be motivated enough just to get here.
Right.
a raise, but he just obviously wasn't going to get one. No matter how hard he worked, he was going to stay working class, maybe for the rest of his life. And presumably his children would too, which would affect...
How does he know any of this?
Yeah, what's going on here?
He's like, this guy that I knew for a couple months, I'm just going to make all these like grand projections about his entire life based on the fact that he worked hard in a bar.
Well, he doesn't even get specifics about how the people talk to him. They talk to him very differently. I don't know. Like, what's
Yeah, what does
going
that
on
mean?
there? Yeah. Like, they were speaking Spanish? That's differently. Like,
no, but like, this is so weird and racist. He's like, oh, you know, this Latinx individual from some unidentified Latinx country.
Poor
is
Javier.
never gonna. Yeah.
Fucking freedom for Javier.
Yeah, he's never gonna make it in our white society. He's
I know,
the wrong
what a
skin
fucking-
color.
Like, that guy's probably a doctor now, you fool. What are you talking about?
It's so funny. It's because we're like, there's so many. It's just so obnoxious to me. I don't know. Maybe this is a New Zealand thing. Maybe this is a Brit thing. But I don't know. In America, it's like there's so many doctors that are of Latin origin or Indian,
totally.
or of like, you know, of all stripes, of all creeds,
Totally.
who succeed in our society. And so
Totally.
it's just this is all based, and this is what's insane. This is all based on him not wanting to self-reflect and understand that the reason he's not working hard at this job, and this guy is because of his incredible first world nation privilege.
I
And that's
know.
really the end of the day. That's all it is. That's all that's happening. So he concocts this whole fucking racialized worldview just so he doesn't have to deal with himself.
I got news for you, bro. Javier owns his own roofing company, man. He's pulling in $2 million a year, you fucking lazy bastard.
And he's actually producing something tangible.
Yeah,
as opposed
totally.
to just shitting out propaganda to make communists in the future so they can destroy the world.
He finally figured out, like, bilinguals kill it in the fucking roofing industry. He's like, I got 20 guys a month that come up here. We're
Yep.
killing it. Lazy Americans don't want to do shit.
Yeah, but see, then when Javier opens his own roofing company, then he becomes the evil owner who doesn't do anything anymore.
Oh, but Javier, he deserves it, though, because of my racism and my oppression. It's funny that he doesn't think, Javier is probably scheming on owning his own roofing company. He doesn't know because he never talked to the guy.
Yep.
Which seems vaguely racist to me. I
It
don't
is
know.
super racist. He's like Javier's children are probably never gonna get out of working class. Bitch, you didn't ask him what the fuck his
I
children are
know.
doing.
No
Maybe he's
shit.
sending money back so his kid can go to fucking medical school. You don't fucking know. Like, what the hell?
It's so sad too. I mean, work environments are one of the few places where you can just like talk to everyone. Like race
Right.
is not a barrier. It's
Right.
great.
But no, whatever.
Yeah. How lame.
He
Their
was
chances
too
of the right
busy
room
telling
with the right
bombing with his terrible jokes on stage. Okay, he couldn't talk with the riffraff. Okay, he was above them.
Javier, I'm trying to be funny here, okay? I'm going to be Batman one day. Batman, I tell you.
I want to be Batman. I don't have time to hear about your sad story about your family and your work environment. I have to tell jokes and be funny. Ha 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 ha.
with the right people or getting the right education to escape the poverty trap. And this isn't me disparaging him or calling him a victim or anything. On the contrary, he was a legend and a damn good classy. But undoubtedly, he was forced unfairly to live that way because he wasn't white.
No, because he was born in a fucking shithole country.
Well, we don't even know what country. We don't know what country he was born in.
Oh, yeah. He
don't
could have
even
been
know what
over on a
country.
work visa. Brazil's not too bad.
No,
So that Bruno,
I mean, it's not America.
Well, we can't all be American.
That's true.
We can't all be lazy Americans.
That's true.
Someday, guys.
But this proves like that he's just destroying the leftist narrative. You have someone who's coming from a bad environment, who doesn't have all this stuff provided for them, is
Yeah.
hyper motivated to work.
Yeah.
And someone who comes from an environment where they have all these things provided for them already isn't motivated to work because they
Yeah.
think they just deserve it.
Yeah.
And they don't appreciate it.
Argument against UBI right there.
There
There
you go.
I don't want you to think I don't see them both. I calculate them in my head. UBI is going to win, though.
could make money off him. And Bruno wasn't a bad guy. He was actually kind of nice. On my last night working there, a female customer sexually assaulted me in a corridor as he happened to be walking past, and he actually told her off on my behalf, which was cool of him. But
Oh, see, look, you have a boss who's looking out for the safety of his employees.
How you get sexually assaulted as a dude?
Yeah, I don't even know what that means.
What
I wish
happened?
I wish you'd
Yeah.
expand upon.
What happened? She tried
I
to
don't
steal a
know.
kiss or something? What happened there?
Did she grab his junk?
Yeah, what happened? Philosophy
Yeah,
too?
I
Come
don't
on,
know.
kiss and tell. We want to know.
that was just the way the place ran. Me and Javier were on the same team because we had nothing to sell but our labor, even though we were from really different backgrounds.
Wait,
We had,
what?
we had nothing to sell but our b-holes. I'm sorry, guys. I couldn't help myself. We're just there, lowly sex workers.
But that was just the way the place ran. Me and Javier were on the same team because we had nothing to sell but our labor, even though we were from really different backgrounds, different countries even.
And I wouldn't even talk to him because he's lower than me. I'm not talking to these immigrants.
I don't want to get his perspective of reality. I want to project my perspective onto him.
I might be able to use this situation in the future YouTube video to make some money off of this experience, even though I don't take away anything from the job.
And Bruno, he just wasn't on our side.
Even though he explicitly was on your side in an argument, or not even argument, a conflict you had with a customer. He
Yeah.
could have totally been like, just let the customer do whatever you want. But no,
Yeah,
he took your side. But it doesn't matter because he was the boss.
yeah.
So, fuck him. Fuck that guy.
If she wants to make out with you, make out with her. She's a customer. What the fuck? I'm running a bar here.
at
People
that.
want to make out.